Hello everybody and welcome back to Imperator, where last episode we took over the rest of Garamantia, and we've got some roads to build, and I'd like to take out these guys pretty quick as well. So we've definitely got some forces out over here, and I'd like to build roads right up over here, and this should connect here and also here, like that. Then these guys down here, they can go onto road build, and they're going to build a road about like that is pretty much all they need to build. So that all seems relatively fine. These guys, they don't have enough loyalty, apparently. This guy's very upset. He is very upset. I'm going to bribe him. He is no longer nowhere near upset. He's now 72. So this was definitely just needing to be updated. Okay, we'll build a road, and that's going to be down over this way, about like that. I also want him to build a road up through here. There we go. That'll be fine. These guys are going to build a road down here, and then they're going to come out over this direction. Well, they should definitely make sure that this is connected up over here. No doubt about that. And then build that road out over here, and then out over this direction, making sure that all of this is connected up. There we go. So that should be all the road build that we need for right now. And I believe that we're already fabricating a claim up over here. Is that accurate? Yes, we're 31% done with that. So that sounds good, and at this point, this needs to be updated. So there's a Scorn family right now, actually two of them. We can put a member of the Scorn family here in order to update that. And there we go, no problem. Fantastic. And we can do another Scorn family member in this navy. What do we got here? You'll do. Perfect. So that looks fine for right now. And then, of course, we can just spend some of this money. So this does not need to be a fortress. This should be a mine. This should not have a fortress either. And this city is awkward. We can do something like this and build a foundry, 3 mills, and then a pair of slave traders. We should enable automatic trading here. There we go. And what do we got going on up over this direction? So a farming settlement is good. Slave estate. This is a production city for sure. We produce precious metals here, so we'll do something like that. This should be a slave estate. Looks good for now. This should be a slave estate. There we go. This is not actually colonized. Noted. Okay. A little awkward on the building setup here, but it'll be relatively fine. And those are both farming settlements. Sounds good. So then out over this direction, this is very awkward in its building setup. But something like this will be better. There we go. And then that's a hunting camp. Seems fine. What have we got down here? This should be a farming settlement. This should be a slave estate. And we can definitely unpause the game here. We'll get rid of the shrines, but I'm going to keep the Grand Theater and the Great Temple and enable automatic trading here. And we'll get some mills going here. We'll get some slave traders. We'll get some taverns. That'll all be fine. This should be a farming settlement. This should be a farming settlement. And this should be a slave estate. Up over here, this is a mine. That looks good. Okay, out this direction, we would like to have a pair of forums, or actually a pair of taverns is what we really need there. So here we would like to have a pair of taverns. That'll be good, and a forum. We get rid of the fort that is currently here. That's not necessary. And we would get rid of the granary as well. Put in a trio of mills, a slave trader, and a tavern. There we go. The rest of this is looking pretty okay. This is not colonized, I think. So that's fine. Yeah, that's all looking fine up here. We know that these should be good. It's this one that's going to need some work, and that will be a mine. Okay, so that should be all of the territory that we took from Garamantia done at this point. So that looks fine. Next up, we can check in here, and yeah, we can see that's all good to go. So the next location would then be Panaha, which that's probably not how that's pronounced, but that's okay. So that would be this state up over here, and this is absolutely a production location. We don't need a great temple here. This is going to be a mill, and then actually the farmer's market here is not bad. This is a well-populated metropolis. So that seems okay. We can do something like this. So building these at about a 2-to-1 ratio. As soon as the autosave is over anyway. We'll just do it something like that. That'll be fine. Okay, so we get a mine here. That looks good. Slave estate. That'll be fine. Awkward road here, but whatever. We definitely want to get some Freeman districts and mills going here. That'll be fine. Farming settlement looks good here and here. That's a slave estate. And this would be mills that we'd be interested in putting in here. That's a slave estate there, and this is pretty okay in its building setup as well. We can just do something like that and get that almost done. We won a battle. Okay, sure. I don't know where that battle came from, but whatever. So next up is going to be Salyan. So that is right out over this direction. So we're working on this. Now, this fort is still useful, for sure. We're at 6 out of 7 fort points. Let's go up 1 level here. And then from there, we're interested in just building a mill. That'll be fine. So a farming settlement here is good. This should be a slave estate. And then down over here, of course, we're going to want to have some mills and taverns. There we go. That all looks good. Yiska thinks she knows the solution. We have the intelligent trait. Okay, so we gained some progress. That looks good. So we're going to put in some mills here to mill up some more deer. Perfect. And these are all slave estates. That's reasonably fine. I think we just beat up some more barbarians. Okay. This should be a hunting camp. But otherwise, that looks wonderful. Okay, next up would be Petra Lazikis, which is right out over here. Okay, so that's this state. I feel like we've worked on this state before, but we'll see. What do we got here? Yeah, this looks like we've probably worked on it. Okay, Johanna was born, sure. And this is going to be 3 forums here, for sure, and then a Freeman district, so that looks fine. Farming settlement here is good. This is properly set up. No problem there. This city could use an extra mill, sure. And then this city, we could definitely put in a duo of forums, and then a duo of Freeman districts as well. Okay, so we keep fighting barbarians out over here. They're just repeatedly attacking this fort location, I think, which is pretty funny. Let's definitely get another fort going there. That'll be wonderful. Okay, the next location would be Neapolis Carias. That is not how you spell. Neapolis. There we go. Spelling is very hard, apparently. So that's this state right down over here. Okay, so we're going to get all of that going. Looks good. This is a farming settlement. This should absolutely be a hunting camp. Not a hunting camp, a logging camp. Okay, this is going to be 3 mills. This is going to be 3 mills. What else do we have here? So that's a slave estate, slave estate. This is going to be a mill, and then a slave trader, and then a tavern. The Faith of Yitro, huh? Sure, we'll take 6 stability. That's great. Okay, these are all looking good. This is going to be an academy and then a library. Perfect. And that all looks excellent. We're basically out of money at this point, so let's just leave that be. We'll colonize Zetis out over here, but we're definitely interested in attacking these guys. Barbarians continue repeatedly attacking this, and it's hilarious. I'll let it happen. It's fine. Okay, so these guys are done with their road build. They're going to head on up over here. These guys are done with their road build. I'm going to send them up over this direction. These guys are actually still working on their road. So for now, that seems okay. But these are done. They're going to exit road build, but they're going to stay right where they are. We only need 2 forces to attack this, really. We could have a third come in this direction, but is there a point? I don't know that there's a point to that. These guys are done. I'm going to send them down over to here for now. I would be interested in doing some work on this here. This state could definitely use some work. Let's get rid of the library here, get rid of the port, get rid of the commercial district. We're going to get rid of the actually the shrine. This is mostly Israelite. Shocking. Okay, so that means we don't need the Grand Theater anymore. I mean, it's still kind of useful, I suppose. Conversion would be very useful over here, but for the moment, this is fine. So we're just going to get going with an earthworks and 4 levels of fort, like that. Then we're going to get some mills in and a slave trader. So that'll be fine. And I want to check down through here. So that all looks good. I'm guessing we've already done this. Not this location, though. We've definitely not hit this one yet. So that's fine. We'll get rid of the citizen district. We'll get rid of the noble district. The farmer's market is not currently necessary. The Great Temple's somewhat useful, but we're at 86%, so let's just do something like that. Now we're going to need a little bit of gold to get this finished, so let's go up to 3 mills and 3 slave traders. We're basically out of money at this time, and we'll have to wait a little bit. But while we're doing that, I want to check up over here. So these are all reasonably fine. This needs to get deleted. And this should then be... Can we build a hunting camp for ivory? I guess we'll find out in a moment. And this is going to need some work, too. Okay, so no hunting camp, so that is a slave estate. We're definitely going to need a pair of forums here, and we're going to need a freeman district. That'll be fine. The rest of these are absolutely okay, except for this city. This city needs some work. So the buildings that are pre-existing here are all fine. We just need money to build the remaining 5. So that'll be okay. How are we doing on our... Okay, we're at 85% on our claim fabrication. Sounds good. And now we finally stack wiped the barbarians. Hilarious. Okay, sure? Null underscore family, huh? Fantastic. 5 stability here. That's a fair amount of gold, actually. I'm going to lose 5 stability for that. Okay, so now we're going to build the foundry. We're going to build the 3 mills. We're going to build the slave trader. So that's what we can get done down over here for now. So that's looking good. We've got one more location I think that we can do before our claim is done. So we'll do Chulu, which is right up over here. Okay, so we definitely don't need the academy, library, or the commercial district, or the noble district, or the citizen district. The Great Temple is useful here, so we'll keep that around. We'll build 3 mills, 3 slave traders, 3 taverns, and a forum. How are we doing on our research? 235 is our cap, so we're still under cap on that. Noted. Okay, so everything is looking pretty okay through there. But then we get to this city, and this is awkward. I didn't actually intend to get rid of that forum. I right-clicked the wrong thing, but that's okay. Let's put in a foundry and mills and slave traders and taverns. There we go. So this city up over here, what's that looking like? Oh, this needs work too. So this is spices. We don't really have the culture to make this be a research city. Otherwise, I would make this be a research city. We'll keep around the Grand Theater, Great Temple for now, but let's have this be a production city instead. So that's going to be something like this. There we go. And then as we go through here, I'm kind of expecting the majority of these to be well set up, but they actually aren't, many of them. So I don't think we've touched this state yet. This should be a logging camp, and an enclosure is fine. Logging camp is okay. There we go. Okay, so that looks good. We should have our claim on this revolt right now. So we can just go ahead and declare this now. Perfect. And we can have these guys head into here, and these guys are going to head into here, and then they're going to go grab this fort, is the idea. So now that we know where the fort layouts are, this shouldn't be... They have a 3K stack here, and it's heading this direction. That's interesting. I'm not sure what their plan with that one is. But okay. Wow, 28% right away, just out of the gate. That's insane. I like it. Barbarians out over here again. I mean, they're just going to keep repeatedly running into us up here, I guess. So, sure. Why not? I guess that's fine. Out over this direction. A question that I have. This out over here, did we ever build the earthworks? We did not, is the answer. So let's get that earthworks queued up. That will be absolutely wonderful. And I want these guys to head in to take this fort. Perfect. We do have a governor that we need out over here, and there's a scorned family, so who should we put in here? Well, that would actually be this guy. Perfect. Okay, back over here, we're going to take this fort eventually. Are we also going to be at 28% out of the gate? The siege is already over. 7% out of the gate. That's not bad. That is not bad at all. So we'll head up here, grab this state. And they're making no attempt to attack us. They're just kind of hiding. Fair enough. I mean, I would hide from our empire too, to be honest. That's not going to go well for them. So we're still at 7% here. Let's see what happens on the siege tick. Goes up to 14. Okay. So we need a new governor for Albania. Once again, a scorned family. So let's see who is actually scorned here. Not you. Hang on. What else do we have here? A fortress here? Where is this? It's completely irrelevant to build a fortress there. We're going to take the manpower, not that we need it. What family is this? Davidite. Oh, okay. We don't actually care then. So we're going to put this guy in charge. Beautiful. So we could stack these guys in here. It would be painful to the manpower, but we don't care about manpower, right? Like, we're gaining 10,000 manpower per month. We don't care. So the idea here is that we're just going to increase our number of siege weapons, and that brings us up to 64%. This is probably going to fall right now, and we'll just annex all of this. That's the idea, anyway. They're sieging down here, but this really, really, really doesn't matter. We'll let the auto cap happen, and then we'll take all of it. That should put us at 100% war score, I think. Yep, fantastic. So we'll sue for peace here, and we're going to take all their territory. That'll give us a little bit of AE, but we don't actually care. So that looks great. Beautiful. So the important thing here is that this is no longer an exclave. That's huge. We can have these guys chilling down here, and these guys can chill up over here for now. Yeah, they're going to take attrition, but that's fine. Our next target over here is the Roman Empire. There's no doubt about that. So that is understood. We'll let this tick. There we go. This is a settlement. I was hoping this would be a city. If it was a city, we would definitely bulk that up a little bit. Fighting the Romans is not by any means going to be like an impossible achievement or something. We're going to be able to overcome them, but they're going to be relatively strong compared to what we've been fighting. So that's something that we need to keep in mind. Their troops are not going to be as numerous as ours, but I think probably troop for troop, they're going to be better. So that's something we need to think about. So Macedon here, what is their current opinion of us? So their current opinion is 96. If we wanted to improve on that, we could bring this up to about 140, right? And then with a gift, we'd be able to bring that up another 25. So we're not in range of getting this to 190 while we're not at war with or rather, while we're not in the same war, right? So that's something to think about. Do we have a claim on the Roman Empire? We do not. So we're going to have to fabricate one. And I'd like to fabricate that on, like, Metagonia over here. So where is Metagonia? Here it is. We'll get that going. Rome's not going to be happy about this, obviously. And we're going to have some fights on some different fronts, right? This out over here, there's not actually that much Rome here. Taking this would be a good thing for us. This up here, they'd have to go through Britannia, so that's not that big of a deal. But these holdings over here are at risk. They would definitely strike at those from here, right? No doubt about that. I think we could probably storm up here and take this and hold this straight, cutting them off from their African holdings. I think that's a fairly viable plan. And to that end, I'm going to move these guys up over here. And these are here, and then we'd attack from the south as well. So this out over here, we can definitely take care of very quickly. We can hold this straight. The real question is, what do they decide to do with this, this, and this, right? But does that matter? Does that matter? It's an interesting question, for sure. We're going to head on up over here, and I think we have a pretty decent plan on how we're going to go about taking these sections of the Roman Empire. Although I'm thinking about swapping this army and this army, just because of their troop count. So we can do that, and then I think these should stay here. Their plan would be to attack up over here, and maybe draw their ire away from these areas. But I don't plan on directly defending either of these, as of right now. So that's definitely something to think about. If that's the case, maybe we should build a fortress here. I'm going to get rid of the forums here. And we're going to put in 5 levels of fort here. And I'll also get rid of a slave trader, and we'll put in an earthworks once that level of fort finishes. Then down over here, or perhaps up here. We don't need both. Although both would be interesting. I'm thinking about, well, there's a crossing here. So this fort would zone of control. Yeah, this would be a good fort location. As would this. Both of these are excellent fort locations. So I'm going to back off on some of this. And we're going to get some forts going up over here. I don't want to get rid of that. We'll get rid of the... Oh, it did get rid of the Grand Theater and the mill. Okay, well, that's not necessarily what I had hoped. I guess we'll rebuild the Grand Theater, and then we'll get that earthworks going as soon as this level 1 fort is completed there. Okay, so that's the overall concept for how we're going to prosecute this war against Rome. But it's going to take some time to get all of these fortresses built, right? I don't know that we have that kind of time. How are we doing on building this up? So this is going to be ready in about 2 years. So that is absolutely noted. No doubt about that. The forts are not going to be ready in 2 years. So do we want to wait? Maybe. But ultimately, I think that's a decision for next episode. I'm going to go ahead and put a cut in here, and next episode, we're going to see how that ends up going, and I expect this war to take a little while as well. So we'll see. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Andy McGard, Dark Horse, Xenocyte, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.